Hello everyone, this is Pridarshini Tiwari. I welcome you all in the first lecture of Socio-Economic Offences. The topic for today's discussion is an introduction to socio-economic offences. So, before dealing in detail with the concept of socio-economic offences, it is very essential for us to know the basic difference between the traditional crimes and the socio-economic offenses. Traditional crimes are those crimes which are generally punishable under the general laws of the land like Indian Penal Code or any other law for the time being in force. Such offences consist of murder, theft, extortion, dacoity, or robbery. The traditional crimes are committed with intent of hatred or vengeance towards particular person or group of persons. But on the other hand, socio-economic offences are those offences which involves an injury to public health, public morals and economy, and such offences have been made punishable under the special laws of land. The socio-economic offences or offences which generally cause an injury against the socio-economic condition of the country, and these offences are considered to be a modern trend of criminality, so they have been made punishable under the special laws of the land, and different laws have been enacted to make these offences punishable. Socio-economic offences are the harms caused to society having tendency to erode the national health, character and economy. Basically, the traditional offences are committed against individual or group of individual, but socio-economic offences are committed against the society, against the nation or public at large. And socio-economic offences always have a tendency to injure the public health, public economy and public morale at large. Now, the definition of socio-economic offences. Those offences which affect the health or material welfare of the community as a whole. It means if any act or omission of an accused person is having such tendency that it can affect the health and material welfare of the community can be treated as socio-economic offense. Now the kinds of socio-economic offenses. So, corruption, illegal trade and drug related crimes, large scale black marketing and hoarding of essential commodities, food adulteration, sale of spurious drugs. These are the offenses which can fall under the category of socio-economic offenses. Trafficking for prostitution, organ trade, etc., are also the best example of socio-economic offenses. Now, the causes which are solely responsible for the growth of socio-economic offenses. So, the followings are the causes which are solely responsible for the great growth of socio-economic offenses. These are the industrialization, the technological and scientific developments, the material happiness and greed for money. These are the causes which are very responsible for the growth of socio-economic offenses in India. Now, the nature of socio-economic offenses and difference between the traditional offenses. Indian Law Commission's 29th and 47th reports provides for the following salient features of the socio-economic offenses. The first is motive is avarice or rapaciousness. Motive of the criminal is avarice or rapaciousness and not lust or hate, which is often the cause in conventional crimes. The second is background is non-emotional. Background of the crime is non-emotional, unlike murder, rape, defamation, etc. There is no emotional reaction as between the victim and the offender. The next is the victim is usually the state. The victim is usually the state or a section of the public, particularly or particularly consuming public, that is that portion of which consumes goods or services, buys the shares or securities or other intangibles. Even where there is no individual victim, the more important element of the offense is harm to the society. Now, the mode of operation is fraud. The mode of the offender is fraud and not the force in the socio-economic offenses. Usually, the accused person causes an injury to the public with the use of fraud by practicing fraud and not by the use of force or violence. Now, the act is deliberate and willful. The act of the offender is always shown to be deliberate and willful. Now, the most important feature of these offenses is that they ordinarily do not involve an individual as direct victim, but they causes an injury to the public at large, and so they are punishable. So, in socio-economic offenses, any person or individual is not said to be victim. The direct victim of these offenses are generally a group of society or public at large. Now, the presence of mens rea in socio-economic offenses. Generally, the offenses are of two types: the conventional and non-conventional offenses. Now, the conventional offense. Conventional offenses where mens rea is an essential ingredient. The fundamental principle of criminal liability is that there must be a wrongful act, actus rea, combined with the wrongful intention, that is mens rea. But in non-conventional offenses where no mens rea is required, and they are termed as public welfare offenses, white collar crimes and socio-economic offenses. This is done due to nature of the act being quasi-criminal nature, that is, it involves acts that are in real sense not criminal in nature but are prohibited in public interest. The nature of the offense is such that the commission bring a very serious damages to the society. It is difficult to prove mens rea. The penalties are petty fines, and where a statute has done away with the necessity of mens rea on the basis of expediency through fair implication or express words. Now, the leading case on this point is State of Maharashtra versus M.H. George, 1965. In this case, it was held that The socio-economic offences are dealt under special enactment and social welfare legislation. Due to their peculiar nature, that is, they are planned and executed in secrecy by sophisticated means, and their deduction is usually difficult, etc. Most of the offences are made strictly liable, or the requirement of mens rea is often modified in the sense that, unlike conventional crimes, initial burden of proof in these offences lies upon the offender to disprove a legal presumption of his liability. Thank you.